I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not very good at video games.
I don't know if that was a great idea! It wasn't a great idea! Oh my gosh, I just want to go. No, no, no! I just wanted to go! Fucking hell. That's gotta be a fucking piss. You've got to be joking! Fuck you.
I remember initially thinking that buying Sekiro would be a terrible idea, because whilst I've enjoyed the Soulsborne games, I either spent the majority of my time dying...
Oh god damn it. Fine then!
or doing stuff like this.
Just gravestone. Just gravestone. Wait, just before he dies, he'll see with gravestone. Get closer to him. This is your inevitability.
And whilst I suck at these games, I also enjoy them. Sort of like your favourite food being donuts, but you're a diabetic. Life's unfair sometimes. Get good. So whilst I had already decided I wasn't getting Sekiro, I also wanted it, because it looks so damn good. Oh, and the reviews are pretty decent too, though there are also plenty of peeps salty at the difficulty of the game. A lot of people claim the game was just too hard, with many people arguing there should be an easy mode. I'd have probably agreed with this at the time, especially as I feared I wouldn't be able to progress very far, as I wouldn't be able to summon people in the game to help me like the little bitch I am. So what was it that piqued my interest, no one asked? Well, it was when I stumbled on some videos of people cheesing the game. These absolutely wonderful people made videos highlighting cheeky ways of defeating some of the harder enemies in the game. I remember thinking, well, I lack skill, I can't summon help, so yes, I'll let the cheese do all the heavy lifting for me. This will do. As soon as I started playing it, I thought, man, does this game look good. Just breathe it all in. Oh, and you can finally jump in a From Software game too. I liked how it was much more streamlined than the Soulsborne games, with a heavy focus on action. I mean, you essentially play as this disabled ninja that kills the living shit out of everything. There's no honour or morals here. This shinobi will happily stab you in the back or get right up in your face and stab you in the throat. It's violent and I love it. The combat is aggressive and about timing. Sort of like a rhythm game that really hates you for some reason and constantly wants you to make a mistake and die. I loved the freedom of movement, and the posture mechanic was cool. Well-timed deflects and strikes can make shorter work of your opponent, plus you have to watch out for perilous attacks. I remember facing off against Genichiro for the first time. Ow. And he kicked the living shit out of me.
Not cool.
I even enjoyed the stealth, which I'm not usually the biggest fan of, but I enjoyed working out the best routes to take in order to reduce the risk of facing off against an army of aggressive soldiers or dogs or chickens. Not because I'm a little bitch, which we've already established I am, but because I'm also a ninja, and stealth is important in Sekiro, because the enemies actually feel like a threat. Yes, even the chickens.
What? Ah! It's attacking me!
Take anyone too lightly and they will treat you like you insulted their mum. There's mini bosses too. I remember thinking I wasn't doing too bad until I faced off against this bastard who drop kicks and power bombs you like some sort of grotesque wrestler.
Ah! Got ya! Got you now! Now you're dead! Now you're dead! Where's your leg drops now?
I even enjoyed stuff like eavesdropping, which was an interesting way to learn about the world, unlock stuff or get tips on defeating enemies.
He startled, and now he's dead. So are you!
And then I met Gyobu.
My name is Kyobu Masataka Oniwa!
Yeah, the one that ended up as the John Cena style meme. This boss battle taught me a lot, mainly that I should get used to dying a lot, but also that I should practice my deflections and watch my own posture meter, which I pretty much failed at doing.
Fucking hell! Fuck's sake! No! I almost had him! Right, well I'm dead now, aren't I then? Fine!
I did finally beat him though.
I'm not done yet! No! Now you're in trouble! Now you've done it, ya! Got ya! That's finished!
And as I progressed, I naively thought I was doing pretty well, until I caught up with this dickhead. This is the point in the game where people say if you can't beat Genichiro in an honest fight, you shouldn't continue. And I totally get that. Because this is me, running scared, I'm a coward. No matter how many times I took him on, I failed again and again. Turns out I lack the cognitive faculty to press a few buttons at the desired time. I tried like 30 or 40 times, maybe more, I don't know, because I lost count. It was depressing. To make matters worse, despite attempting to cheese Genichiro, it was still a struggle. 1 or 2 careless mistakes and you were pretty much screwed. Whilst the cheesing eventually worked, defeating him didn't feel earned, and I had this feeling I was going to struggle for the rest of the game. Still, I made my way through the game one cheese at a time, wondering if I'm just on borrowed time. And I continued, not with skill but using this ninja's best new friend, cheesing any encounter necessary. Yeah, I could take out the simpler guards, a few deflections I was okay with, and every now and again, for a brief moment I'd think, wait, does I have skills now? Where has this cometh from? Then I'd be brought straight back to reality. I'm dead. I suck. I'm always gonna suck. All you need to do is press the right buttons and press them at the right time.
Oh, is it that one, was it? No way! I pressed it! I pressed it!
But for some reason, I'm an idiot and I can't. I don't know why. Some people are gifted athletes. Some can do complex mathematical equations in their head. I'm gifted at being rubbish at video games. But that's okay, because I can cheese my way through this mofo. I cheesed my way past everyone. The great shinobi owl? Cheese please. The corrupted monk? Have some more of that cheese. What about Snake Eyes Shirahagi? This dickhead. I cheesed him by making him poison himself. I mean, it took a while, but whatever, it worked. You get it. Cheese. As I make my way towards the final boss of the game, I remember watching a video saying that by this point you should easily be able to beat Genichiro. But of course, I've cheesed and manipulated my way to this part of the game with nothing but cowardice and an arrogance that suggests I deserve to get this far because I paid for the game. So I die. I die some more, and I embarrass myself with more deaths on top of that.
Wait, I pressed the fucking button! Fucking hell, game! Oh, you're joking!
At this point, I realised I wouldn't be able to cheese Genichiro and I would have to take him on in a proper fight. It was a bit like a professional boxer taking on a toddler. Having faced off against Genichiro more times than I've ever looked into a mirror, I eventually get better at defeating him. But even though that I do, I still end up having to face Ishin, which pretty much resulted in me running around like an absolute chicken. Except the chickens in this game are even less inept than me. I'd get the occasional strike in which soon adds up, but when Ishin gets all pissed off and gets his spear out, he would pretty much destroy me. Every single time, no matter how much cheese I offered. Don't forget, you die at any point and you start the whole thing over again.
Oh shit, here we go again.
I don't know what was the final straw that made me give up, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was this.
Oh, god fucking damn it!
To be fair, this pretty much summed up my Sekiro experience at this point in the game. I remember reading this article in PC Gamer. He used cheats to defeat the final boss phase of the game. I didn't have the PC version, so I couldn't use cheats. But it did leave me thinking, is this really how I'd want to complete the game? What if I started the game again and this time I tried to get good? So I did. I decided to start the game from scratch. No matter how many times I got my ass handed to me and died, once I'm done calming down and probably picking up the pieces of my broken controller, I go back and I often see that it was my own fault. Usually I've pressed the wrong button out of sheer panic, or I've got impatient and lost focus. Replaying the game from the beginning though was like lose a game +1. Still, at least I had enjoyed the game, and I was hoping that the little skills I had gathered up until that point would count for something. And generally it did. I moved through the game at a decent pace, knew some of the advantageous spots, and started to generally hold my own. I was enjoying myself, I was getting better, and actually it was quite rewarding. Though even the bloody chickens were still not afraid of me. I ain't gonna lie though, I'd still make mistakes and I'd still occasionally be cheap, but I generally tried my hardest to focus on trying to get good. I think Lady Butterfly was my first real test of whether or not I was going to be able to get good. I cheesed the fuck out of my first encounter with her, so after defeating her without the use of any dairy products, it was the first moment I thought, okay, I've improved, I'm actually sword fighting, and it feels and looks like an amazing fight. So when I get to Genichiro, I think, this is the yardstick. Had the whole exercise been worth it? Heck yes it had. I realised during this fight that whilst I'm still crap to many, I had dramatically improved. Before, all I had done was run away. Now, I was taking him on without any cheesing in sight. Whilst it took a few attempts, I managed it. And this time, I beat him legit. No running, no cheesing, just skill. Getting good. This is where I really started to love the posture bar. To say I was starting to enjoy the game for how it was intended was an understatement. So when I get to Snake Eyes Shirahagi the second time, I faced him straight one-on-one, right? Did I flip? I did what I did the first time and hid until he'd poisoned himself. I'll have that burger with cheese, mother flipper. When I finally get to the final boss, I still fail. And I still get annoyed a lot.
No! No! Come on! Oh my god!
But by this time, I feel like I'm much more of a threat. I can easily handle Genichiro, but it's usually the last couple of phases of Ishin that really mess me up. Until eventually...
Yes! 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 I'm a god! I'm a fucking god! Oh, thank you, Jesus! I even believe in Jesus, but yes! I am a fucking god! I am a god! I am the best in the world! I can't believe I finally did it! I fucking deserve it! I have tried so hard! I kicked your ass! I kicked your ass, bitch! Suck it! Suck my ninja skills!
A totally humble reaction. So after that hard-fought victory, I finally completed the game. So that's it, right? Time to play something else? Of course not, it's new game +1, bitches! And one of the best things about playing the game again is that you get to keep all your abilities, so I get to use this puppet gimmick as much as I like, getting everybody to mess each other up. It's the lols.
You will take on my puppets and lose! Yes, puppet! Yes! Oh, puppet.
I also like going back and seeing what you've learned and what you can do now. Like facing off against John Cena Gyubu and seeing what it's like to face him after all this learning. But facing off against Genichiro is my favourite. I remember when I first encountered Genichiro, I was so intimidated. He was so punishing and all I could do was frantically press L1 in a vain attempt to try and block or parry his attacks. That or just run away. Now, facing Genichiro, I'm no longer intimidated. In fact, he should be intimidated by me. Look at these skills! Would I have enjoyed Sekiro as much if it was easier? Well, all I know is I definitely wouldn't have had this experience. It's one of my favourite, if not my actual favourite game of all time. And all thanks to persevering and working hard at trying to get good. A phrase I absolutely used to despise. Well, I say I got good.
Oh, that's it. Oh! You bastards! Oh, fuck! A bold piece of crap! Yeah, do you like that, you bold piece of shit? Dead now, aren't you? Dead now, Baldy! Yes! Fuck! The guy's just turned up. There's fucking a bunch of dead bodies around him and some dead dogs. And then he's just like, yeah, and there's a guy walking around in front of him. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna pretend that this shit is not happening to me today. Aha, you can't get me in here, bitch! I'm stuck! I'm stuck! I'm stuck! Fuck you! What the flip? I'm in a menu! Where the fuck am I going? Oh, fuck off! Fucking hell, Wesley! No! Yeah! Yeah, eat it! Eat my shit! Eat it! Just eat it right now! Goddamn son of a bitch!